The Cars Tour has released a significant penalty report following the race at Hickory on Saturday. Penalties have been doled out to Andrew Grady, Buddy Isles Jr., and Ryan Millington, as well as a couple of crew members. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at John Trent Racing. Here is the penalty report. This is over on the Cars Tour page on Facebook. It says ZMAX Cars Tour presented by Sound Gear has issued the following penalties which were incurred during the Throwback 276 race event at Hickory Motor Speedway on July 27, 2024. For actions detrimental to automobile racing or to the Cars Tour under Section 1A of the rulebook, driver Buddy Isles Jr., number 11 of Van Dyke Racing Performance, will receive probation for the remainder of the season and will be fined $500 for the unauthorized crossing of the racing surface to confront another competitor. The fine must be paid before returning to the series. So for that one, Buddy Isles, I believe, was spun out, or that's what he said happened. I don't think we actually got a replay of that one, but by Carson Quaffle. And I think he walked a short distance from his wrecked car and gave him maybe a hand gesture, and then obviously gave an interview asking the folks at Junior Motorsports to pay for his car, given the fact that it was wrecked. Next one here is Andrew Grady. This is the big one. Andrew Grady of TG Motorsports will receive probation for the remainder of the season and will be fined $500 for the unauthorized crossing of the racing surface to confront another competitor. The fine must be paid before returning to the series. So let's take a look at exactly what happened here. I do have this one pulled up over here on Flow Racing. This is the accident that led to Andrew Grady getting very upset. Let's take a look. Grady is in the number 1 Baby Ruth car on the outside. He's getting muscled by Mason Diaz right there. Diaz checks up a little bit. Grady checks up. Huffman gets into the back of him, and then he spins out. And then following him getting spun out, he got out of his car, and he confronted Landon Huffman, walks down the racetrack here, has his Hans device in his hand. Clearly, an official's trying to talk him down. Grady's not having any of it. And then he kind of muscles out of the guy's grasp and then throws it at Huffman right there. Clearly upset. So that is that penalty. So let's go back to the penalty report here. And then it says driver Ryan Millington of Seville Millington Motorsports, or Saville, I'm not sure how to say that, will receive probation for the remainder of the season for rough driving. He spun out Connor Hall on the last lap of the race after the two had been beaten and banging doors in the last couple of laps. Millington was sent to the end of the lead lap. I think he ended up finishing in 14th unofficially. And then now they are putting him on probation for rough driving. I think that's a little bit ridiculous. We've seen people spin other people out, and I don't think they've been penalized this year. So that's just a ridiculous penalty. There was absolutely no need for that penalty. I 100% disagree with that penalty. I think sending him to the rear of the lead lap was a penalty enough for that. I don't think he needs to be put on probation for the remainder of the season. That's just utterly ridiculous. But there's more for Andrew Grady. This is what it says here. Driver Andrew Grady of TG Motorsports will receive a 3-race suspension effective at North Wilkesboro Speedway, Ace Speedway, and Wake County Speedway, and will be fined $1,000. This fine must be paid before returning to the series. So Grady getting a total of $1,500 in fines and a 3-race suspension. So I don't think that is the rest of the season. That is not obviously a ban from the series, but that is a significant penalty. That is kind of what I expected. Obviously, we saw Connor Jones get a 1-race suspension and then put on probation after he chucked his Hans device. It's a little bit more. Obviously, Grady didn't get the suspension for throwing his Hans device. He just got a $500 fine and was put on probation, but he did get the 3-race suspension due to the brawl here. And this was kind of captured by Front Stretch. Let's take a look at this right here. You can see it's already kind of happened. Grady's getting separated from, this is a person with Trayton Lapsevich. Things are just going crazy. People are getting thrown around. Just all kinds of chaos ensuing here. There you go. Someone's thrown to the ground. The person who threw that guy to the ground gets thrown to the ground. They're dogpiling him. People threatening to clock each other. The police finally show up, getting it all broken up. Just lots of screaming and yelling. And then if we skip ahead a little bit here, series director Jack McNally, you can see him coming into the background right here. He's this guy right here. I don't know if you guys can see him there. He's now confronting Grady. You can see him confronting Andrew Grady, who's kind of made his way back over. The police are there trying to separate them, but I think it all started because of a confrontation between Andrew Grady and Jack McNally. Obviously, the video doesn't show it, but we did get this from Landon Huffman. He says, "Dude throws dirt and grass in my window when I come down pit road, but sure as hell never came and said a word." He's obviously referring to Andrew Grady, who did conduct an interview with Front Stretch before the race concluded. And Huffman is responding to that, but noting that Grady threw some dirt and grass into his window following the conclusion of the race as he was going back to his trailer. And then we also had this here from Trayton Lapsevich, another one of the drivers in the Cars Tour. And he says this: "Since there hasn't really been good coverage of the whole story, Jack McNally was trying to escort Grady back to his trailer after throwing dirt at Landon's car. Andrew pushed Jack to the ground and he hit his head hard, which caused our crew to step in and break it up." So that is the much needed context as to why all of that stuff was happening. Trayton Lapsevich providing that. And the Car Store has suspended Grady now for 3 races. Let's go over to the rest of this penalty report here as well. It says Chris Courtney will receive a 1-race suspension effective at North Wilkesboro and will be fined $500. And this is because he entered another competitor's pit area to instigate a physical confrontation under Section 1F of the rulebook. And then Gage Painter will also receive a 1-race suspension and a $500 fine. Now, I'm not sure which individuals those are. I'm actually surprised there aren't more fines and suspensions for individuals involved in that fight. Clearly, there was at least half a dozen of people involved there. I'm not sure exactly what team those guys are on, but I'm surprised there weren't more fines for the people involved in that physical altercation, involved in that brawl there, especially maybe some of the individuals. Maybe these guys were one of the guys that threw the people to the ground. But there are at least, I would have at least thought there would be a little bit more penalties involved here with the brawl. But only two from the Cars Tour. So let's also go over here and just look at the schedule. I always get the website wrong. It's Cars Racing Tour. I want to say Cars Tour Racing, but it's Cars Racing Tour here. We can look at the schedule, and you can see obviously the next race is North Wilkesboro, and then you've got Ace Speedway, and then we're at where is that there? I don't know. And then Florence maybe. I think it's Florence. It looks like, but they did. What did they say here? Let's go back here. Whoops. They said that he would be suspended at Wake County. So we're missing one there. So it looks like Grady will be able to come back on August 30th for the race at Florence, South Carolina there. And then obviously compete at South Boston and then Tri-County there on October 12th. And then I guess they return to North Wilkesboro for the final race. So he's basically being suspended for half of the races that are left. Let's just go over that one more time. Again, North Wilkesboro, which is August 3rd. He is suspended for Ace Speedway on August 9th. He's suspended for, and then I guess Raleigh is supposed to be the one at Wake there. Drive for Per Year 125 on August 24th. I'm assuming that's just the late model stocks, because then on August 30th is both the late model stocks and the pro late models. So he's being suspended for those first 3 races. And then there's 4 races that he will actually be able to compete in to round out the season. So being suspended for almost half of the remaining races. But let me know what you guys make of what the Cars Tour penalties were here. Do you agree with them? Do you think they should have been more severe? Do you think there should have been less penalties? Let me know what you guys make of this in the comments below.